I've seen some crazy things as a landlord, but my sister's roommate Maya got evicted from a downtown Portland loft for willfully destroying property. And that was just the tip of the iceberg. Maya had just landed a remote tech job, and was thrilled to move into a sun-filled loft on the 5th floor of an old brick building. The rent was reasonable, the landlord, Victor, was hands-off, and the lease said she could quietly enjoy the unit. On move-in day, she handed Clara, the on-site manager, a check for the first month's rent. Clara barely glanced at it, snatched it, and demanded an immediate inspection. Within minutes, Clara was in the living room, yanking open every cabinet, pulling the rug off the floor, and shining a flashlight under the bed. She snapped photos of Maya's vintage record collection, her psychology textbooks, and weirdly, a bottle of over-the-counter sleep aid. The next week, Maya heard a faint drip in the bathroom. She called Clara to check for a leak. When Clara arrived, she stood in the middle of the perfectly dry tile, arms crossed, and announced she was doing a routine check. She spent the next 30 minutes rearranging the spice rack, moving the couch a few inches, and leafing through Maya's mail. Maya asked Clara to stop entering without notice, and that's when things got ugly. Clara's smile faded and she snapped, "This is my building, I can inspect whenever I want." Maya installed a doorbell camera that night. The next morning, Clara ripped it off the wall, hissing, "No surveillance devices." The day after, she returned with a toolbox, mounted a tiny camera pointing directly at Maya's front door, and locked it with a new deadbolt. Maya emailed Victor, but he didn't respond. I decided to step in. I called Victor, explained that Clara's actions were illegal under Oregon's landlord-tenant law, and left a voicemail. Victor called back, sounding confused and a little embarrassed. He promised to talk to Clara, but the next morning Maya woke up to find her living room trashed. Every piece of furniture was tipped over, the rug was soaked, and her laptop screen was cracked. Clara stood in the doorway smug, holding a fresh set of locks and a stack of papers. "You're evicted," she declared. "You've caused $7,200 in damages, and I filed a police report alleging you're dealing illegal substances. I filed a motion to dismiss the eviction and demanded a hearing." In court, Clara strutted in, clutching a leather briefcase stuffed with photos, a copy of the lease, and a handwritten list of infractions. When the judge asked for evidence of the damage, Clara produced the photos. I countered with the building's maintenance logs, security footage, and the original lease clause clear language stating that any entry required a 24-hour written notice. The judge asked who had access to the valve that caused the water damage. Clara admitted she had the master key. I asked her to explain why she installed a camera without documentation. She stammered, then claimed it was for security. The judge interrupted. "Security does not give you the right to violate a tenant's privacy, or to evict them without proper notice." He dismissed the eviction, ordered Victor to reinstate Maya's lease, and awarded her $4,500 in compensation. Victor called me later, relieved and grateful, promising to fire Clara and hire a reputable property manager. Maya moved back in, this time with a fresh lock and a written agreement that any future inspections would be scheduled with 48-hour notice. The whole episode taught me a stark lesson. Authority without accountability is a recipe for abuse. Tenants have rights that can't be overridden by a manager's security concerns. For anyone in property management, remember, a lock is not a weapon, a camera is not a license to spy, and a lease is a contract, not a suggestion. So landlords, the next time you think you can just check the unit, whenever you feel like it, ask yourself whether you're protecting an investment or infringing on a person's home. The law is clear and the courts are watching.